Nitish Kumar Reddy stands waiting on 99 not out at the striker's end. Siraj in the sprinter's position at the non-striker's end after Bumrah and Washington Sundar dismissed earlier, leaving him stranded on 99. Scott Boland comes steaming in and he punches him down the ground. Nitish Kumar Reddy, tears streaming down his father's face, and it's all brought to you by Big Basket Now.
And for which child is this?
For the child at heart.
Big Basket. Get toys and other Christmas gifts in 10 minutes. Shop now.
Well, Pezza, that is one hell of a day of Test cricket. I think it was 3 for 194 in a day's play of cricket. I almost went home to get your dog to let Florimo walk down the deck to make that thing go off the straight. It was very, very tough to watch. And you know what? India, they've done it again. Jadeja towards the end of his career. Ashwin, already gone. And yet somehow they've done it again. To break our hearts when we think the game is open, we've cracked the game open. And they find these guys over and over again to just kill us from numbers 8 and 9 in the batting order, Pezza. Jesus Christ.
Oh, mate, this Indian team just don't quit, brother. 3 for 194 today. Basically a full day's play. A bit rain and bad light later on. Won't hear the Melburnians talk about it that much. Not a day for Ritlin TikTok-addled brains today, he goes. It was a day of boring fields, of funky fields, of patience, of cashing in. A real what you've got to understand about cricket day. You know, a day where just because it's flat for 2 or 3 days doesn't mean that's what it's going to be forever, but because of the communications age that we live in, that is what it's going to be forever. We'll never take a wicket again.
No, it didn't feel like it.
But let's get into Nitish Kumar Reddy, the first thing for today. A scintillating maiden test ton at age 21 when his team needed it. The Indian batting order have done their absolute best to fuck up this game, but there's so many of them that finally somebody came through.
Yeah.
He arrived at the crease at 191 for 6, and I will put it in that order because it's his day.
His day.
When the follow-on loomed, you know, and not only loomed but loomed large.
Yeah.
He goes, and he looked good from the outset, basically as he's looked the entire series.
Yep.
He hasn't missed. He brings up his 50 with a pushpa celebration.
Yes.
Okay, we're getting to learn about that. He's like, I think he's got the best percentage of non-false strokes. That's definitely how they say it for Crick Viz. He's played the least amount of false strokes out of anybody this series. But when he brings up this 100, he goes, NKR, helmet on handle with genuflect to the heavens, under brooding Victorian skies, watched on by his father in tears. And we had the privilege or the kind of mistake of being around the Indian players' family area yesterday, and a wonderful view that they have there. We were invited by somebody for a drink. We didn't know where we were going. We were told to leave. Fair enough. Okay, we didn't know. We were just invited for a drink by somebody. Less said the better. Wonderful view there. But I like that NKR's dad was getting amongst it.
He was in amongst it. In and around it.
Amongst the Bharat Army, the Swami Army, not the Khalistan protesters. Different thing.
That's a different
out
thing.
here. That's a completely different thing. And what an imperious, dreamy stroke with which to bring up his 100. Had to wait a little bit. Washi got out, Jasprit got out. Was he going to be stranded on 99? And then he just lofts bowling over mid-on, brings up the ton, gets on the knee, looks to the heavens. It's hot shit.
Why has he been the best player? Why? Why has he been the best player? He had no form of being the best player. You know, I needed... we got some backstory about Jaiswal, how exciting he's going to be. We've even seen that. And then Nitish Kumar Reddy, he played in the A game, and it was like, I've seen it in the IPL. I get it. That's so exciting. Averages 23 in first-class cricket. Okay, no business scoring a flawless, chanceless, technically perfect and correct 100 for his nation on our day.
It's time for the intense segment for Big Basket now. It starts with a big heart, electronics, toys, whatever you needed to fondle yourself over the innings today. And a lot of Indians did at the ground. Fair enough too. Because I want to discuss Indian depth.
Fair enough.
He goes, I want to discuss Indian depth. They always have a rear guard, these coats, and all power to them. And I guess with Nitish Kumar Reddy, he goes, it is good when a number 4 is batting number 8.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, must be nice.
It must be really nice. A guy that bowls a $120, but will probably average a $120.
Yep.
You know, in Test cricket,
Yeah.
that's what he looks like. Comes into the series with a first-class average of 21. With the bat, he's
21
improved it
was
by
it?
2 points. He's
Right.
hit one first-class ton ever.
Right.
He looks like the best bat this series.
Yep.
Okay, like
He's a leading run scorer.
Yeah, right.
He's
okay.
a leading run scorer.
Yeah, and like, look, it's total football from India. Hey, I want to give some flowers
Mm-hmm.
to Gautam Gambhir here, who walked up to Shardul Thakur before the series started and said, "You're gone, son. We have a new Shardul Thakur."
Yeah.
It's Nitish Kumar Reddy.
Yeah.
Who again, $120 with the ball, but with the bat imperious. You know, they needed him today because, my view is in this game that India have had some incredible conditions. They could have absolutely stormed Australia out of this series. They had a great bowling day on day one. They fucked it. And a number of their batters tried to do the same thing with some incredible batting conditions day 2 and 3. But this 21-year-old kid has saved their asses. I think it's game on massively in this test match over the next 2 days. We'll explain why in a second. But like it is... Today's a day to once again laud the depth of Indian cricket. It took their number 8 to make the most of this deck.
Mate, they are going to have another generation after. I said at the top there about Ashwin and Jadeja, like how many times does it feel like when either Australia's played them or just, you know, other visiting sides to India especially, where they break through with 6 wickets and you're thinking like, okay, they're now in the game, whether it be Australia or England or Sri Lanka or whatever, and then Ashwin and Jadeja just peel off like an 80-run partnership, 150-run partnership. Like they like the depth is obvious.
They won't go away.
Via the size of the population, surpassing China, of course. But they've just got the most fucking annoying amount of depth where, like, it's not just the runs, it's the technically perfect. They would bat 4 or 3 for 7 of the 9 international countries that play, you know, top level international cricket. And is that right? Whatever. But it's flawless. Like, I know the deck is flattening out in this game, no doubt, but like, it's just like it's 21 years old. This is another generation of fucking annoying, brilliant runs for India.
Mate, Washington Sundar knocked us over with the bat last series. He's batting 9. Here, no, Akashdeep came in. Okay, fuck me. People don't, you know, and like we've come through 4 years of everyone batting with a toothpick in Australia. No one can score runs. You know, you look up these guys' cricket info profiles. Nitish Kumar Reddy's coming in 8, and he's like, oh yeah, he bursts on the scene. Vijay Hazare, he's 17 years old. He's made a 330 ball 400. Okay, against Nagaland.
Pezza, we play for the Australian team.
Yeah.
We fucking battered India in this Test series, except for the first test where they rightfully won and they battered us. We have been by far the best team in this Test series. And yet somehow they're going to win the series 3-1. How the fuck do we beat these guys? How?
They don't go away.
The cunt's batting 9.
In Australia, when you 5 out, you're all out. It's against the rules.
Jesus Christ.
When you 5 out, you come in 7 and beyond, you get bumped, you get sledged, you fuck off. Okay, then it's your turn. You don't have blokes who've scored 400 before coming in 8 and 9. Sorry if that's peaking. Anyway, let's assess Australia.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. He goes, the day started under the suspicion that India's camp was cracking. Right. This was the pressure that the ugly Australian media was trying to place on the Indian, or ICT, right? ITC, whatever. You know, there was overlay on TV of Gauti in serious conversations with a disconsolate Rohit Sharma, then Virat Kohli walking into the group to speak his own mind. You start to connect the dots and think, hang on, is Rohit such a peripheral figure in this Indian side that Virat has now had to stand up in his own way, thus explaining his overt aggression in the last couple of days? This was the yarn that the journalists were trying to, appallingly spin in Australia. Rishabh Pant looked ominous early on. You know, nobody nonchalantly pats a 140k ball back better than him, like casual indifference to the best thing he can offer. Right. But then there was this strange sequence of events where he pulled out from a delivery, and then he tried that like fall over swivel pull thing, very poorly. It smashed him in the ribs. And you think, whoa, what's going on here? Is Punt like trying to assert his authority, like do that thing where it's just like the best you've got to offer is just going to be dispatched nonchalantly? And then he does it again. Q end, third man. Sonny Gavaskar says stupid, which is awesome.
The ABC said that. He said it there.
Exactly. You got a complaint for that.
In the hidden Australian media.
And you think like, oh, he tries to pull off his most disdainful circus act 2 times in a row after pulling away, and you start to think, is the Indian camp crumbling?
Right.
You know, are they doing things like this because they're not quite at the races, as it were, at the horse races? You know,
Yes.
just to be clear.
Yeah.
And once again, you know, it's just like, nah, how about the 7th wicket partnership gets the job done?
Yeah.
And that's when Australia got into their, like, just trying the patient stuff, trying to go wide of off stump for a while, 7-2 fields, trying to go straight. Pastures of, you know, land for Indians to take singles and hit boundaries. You know, Mitch Marsh is coming on, looking benign. Scott Boland's bowling. You know, the new ball's offering nothing. None for 39 off 9 there. Carries up to the stumps to Scott Boland. He's then criminally under-bowled. Nathan Lyon, antiseptic stuff from India. And you think, oh, God, you know, the lead is ruined. They're ruining our great work.
Yeah, and Christmas as a whole, you know,
Yes.
and I include, like, we thought we had a brand new toy for Christmas, and India turns out they have 1.4 billion brand new toys just waiting in the wings.
That you can get from Big Basket.
Indeed, in 10 minutes
In
or
10
less.
minutes, time or less.
Pez, I thought today more than any other day, perhaps in the series, Australia missed Cam Green. Because obviously this is the flattest deck of the series so far. It's probably the flattest deck in Australia for a little while.
It was Junction Oval for a bit today.
It was a little bit. India batted well, but like just the fact that the bowlers weren't getting off the straight. But like, I just look at the workload that I'm looking at Cummins and Stark, especially having their legs now, bowling on hot days. They've had better bowling conditions so far, weather-wise anyway, in this Test match. But like, I reckon Mitch Marsh is in real big trouble for like, you know, continuing on his career. And I say that, I don't enjoy saying it because I think like everything he's given, and he was literally the Alan Border medalist 8 months ago or whenever that was, 9 months ago. And his contribution to Australian cricket has been profound, especially how he's turned his career around. But like, I think they're carrying him massively. Like,
he's got one more chance.
I think it's a real tough time to come and play as like an all-rounder when he can't bowl. I mean, he bowled an over of 118 k's an hour, and like, you know, like he's putting his heart and soul into the team, no doubt, and he's a great guy, etc., etc. But like, there are no runs anymore at the moment, and the guy can't bowl, and like how much work that's putting into the rest of the bowlers, including Boland, who may have been under bowled because he's only bowled in 3 games this year, coming back from injury as well. So you know, there's all of that to contest with, but like, the fact that Cameron Green couldn't come in and bowl a spell of bumpers, and Australia don't have a guy, and then they're also down an all-rounder anyway because the all-rounder can't bowl. It just looks like, once again, after Australia wins such a dominant position at the beginning of the day, or even actually when Jadeja got out today, that the team's creaking again.
Yeah.
And it just all goes back to like, how perfect does it feel like Australia need to play from here on out, the next 7 days of Test cricket in this series, to get away with the series.
This is good though, you know.
They've been so good for so long. Yet when the other team plays well, which I suppose they're allowed to, I guess.
Play well.
You know, it's just like, oh, the team's creaking again.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel about it.
I just think this is a great arm wrestling Test match, and I think there's an argument that, you know, today was a day for Australia with the ball to winkle wickets. It was a day for winkling. And you could argue winkle they did.
Yeah.
Because they're 9 down, India. They got 1 wicket in hand, and
Yeah.
Australia has a lead of 116. Now, like, given the conditions that both teams have been faced with, like, Australia may well be taking that, you know? And, like, you look at India's depth, they do bat all the way down. Nathan Lyon, who has been relatively ineffectual, he breaks the partnership.
Yeah.
Finally, Cummins, surprise, surprise, bring himself back on, as you would as a captain, by the way. Ensures, you know, with Boland, who was outstanding today, that India are 9 down, and Australia have a decent enough lead.
Yeah, so Australia's taken a 4 for 194 today,
that's
right?
right.
I think we said
like,
3.
look, you know, you have to. It depends how you assess the deck. I mean, being there today, it looked like a great deck to bat on, you know.
It did,
and Australia did well enough, I thought. I think they've had the harder of the batting conditions as well, but they've still got a lot of work to do, right? And I just wanted to, for the last one, bring in paths to victory.
Yep.
And I'm including both teams in this. A lot, you know, I think draw's the favourite at the moment. I think if the deck changes behaviour, as a lot of Test decks do, the game could speed up at pace. Now, India trails by 116 with 1 wicket in hand. This next wicket partnership is really important, as we saw at Brisbane, right? It's going to be one of those very frustrating things when Nitish Kumar Reddy farms a strike. See what Mohammad Siraj can do. Australia needs that wicket quickly from an Australian perspective. And I think it's really wide open for both teams depending on how the deck plays out. I think India's win in Perth helps them right now. because the series is at 1-1. It's European away leg stuff for Australia. Australia needs to win. They go to the SCG next test. You can't depend on the weather. You can't depend on the deck there.
Yeah.
Australia needs to make something happen. So let's say Australia gets a wicket early, and they have, the question you have to ask yourself is, how much time does Australia need to bowl to get 10 more wickets? 10 more Indian wickets, and to let the thoroughbreds rest.
Yeah.
I'm saying 4 sessions.
Yeah.
Australia has 4 sessions, which gives them 2 sessions to bat.
Yeah.
I think India comes into the game in that situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I'm saying this is not what will happen.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at I reckon there's a good chance of a very close finish in this game.
It looks like it's going to go all the way for a start. Yeah, I think that does seem obvious. Now,
Australia needs to push it at 1-1.
You think about how quickly Australia will need to score enough runs where they can't lose the game.
Yep.
Mitch Marsh has a role to play in that because he's a very aggressive player, right? Now, Travis said has somehow missed out on the flattest deck of the series so far,
of course.
which, of course, was always going to happen. So
I think it's a lose-to-win declaration scenario.
Yeah, I think
be prepared to lose to win.
Yeah, but you look at the depth now, you have the Gabba scenario 4 years ago where Australia set India 340 or something like that to win, and they did that in the final day, so they were good enough to do it. It's probably even better. In fact, it is a much better squad in this series than it was then. I mean, three sessions doesn't feel like, one day doesn't feel like enough to take 10 wickets, given if India get the position where they can't win, they will just block the shit out of it. And there's no foot marks for Nathan Lyon to work with so far. There's very little sideways deviation. Only Boland seemed to extract anything. There's still a little bit up and down, but not in a threatening sense where bat patters particularly in the game regularly. So
you're calling the curators at the SCG and asking what chance of a result is there. My understanding is that the deck is playing better because Cummins has to make a call on whether you'd prefer to go to Sydney 1-1, which obviously makes it blockbuster salivation. I'm a dog with rabies scenario for everybody. But again,
Australia can't lose the game. Okay, Australia can't lose this game, obviously.
That's right. So what level of percentages does Cummins take into the next next day? It's going to be a big test of his imagination. I remember, against Pakistan a couple of years ago, he made a declaration at the right time, was prepared to lose to win. He goaded the other team into attempting a win. I'd say India would absolutely take the opportunity to win this game. They've got guys who want to step up in that situation.
Yeah.
But being at the ground, it feels like 10 more Indian wickets are going to be really difficult unless they take the gas or Nathan Lyon steps up. But one thing happens more than the other right now.
I suppose the answer would lie in they'll assess how the wicket's playing, because if they feel like if they're scoring runs so easily, they'll try and get 450 ahead and give India a day, and then try and pry them out. But you look at the work that the bowlers are going to have to go to again. They're looking like Cummins, Stark, Boland are looking another 25 overs each. If Lyon's not really prying the wickets out, it's like fucking hell, man.
It's like they're going to play this whole series just to protect their bodies, and it'll just end 1-1 because Q in the rack. I just don't want to break down. I need me back.
I'll tell you who I was thinking about today as well. Like Michael Neser would be a shout in the series had he not torn his hamstring in the A game. I'm just thinking about Marsh at the moment now. Like maybe I'm picking on him unfairly, but I just feel like fuck, they're carrying him. It's compounded by how much Mitch Marsh is missing Cam Green and Australia is missing Cam Green. Now, he was always out of the series, but I was even thinking Neser's batting record is pretty good. Now Neser would be able to score runs on that. He's got a good first class record, especially in Australia. But just extra bowlers, just thinking as well. Australia's just missing an extra bowler, someone to bowl 15 overs in innings, not 6 overs of 118 Ks. With respect to Mitch,
it's a good call that we're missing Michael Neser. Look, I think Marsh still has another chance, and I think it's a game tomorrow where if it does speed up, it might play into his hands. He's the sort of guy that's, he's come back off the canvas several times to revive his career. It seems to work for him. He's got to dig deep again, like a lot of Aussies. But it's a great test match. It's a great series. I think if India plays its cards right as well, it might goad Australia into a declaration that gives them an opportunity, and they could demoralise Australia. I just feel like there's one or two of their bats who have still got something to say in the series. That haven't come to the party quite yet. Including their captain.
I mean, look how good this series is. We haven't said anything funny in 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're actually invested.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. Yeah, and that's actually their fault. AskTGC, he goes, Ben Stokes' pride, must fight night.
Let's stop saying the names.
True. How will Reddy's 100 affect the MCG surface for Richmond Carlton round 1? When Dion Prestia does a string, can I blame old solar panels for not being able to get a number 8 out?
Yeah, well, I did see a photo on Patreon today of Virat in the Richmond Tigers jersey from like maybe 10 years ago.
Yes,
So,
of course. Well,
yeah,
of course, yeah.
He'll be investing in the Tigers as well this season.
Panic when start. Gas truck where is? NKR's Triple C betting odds what is? Former Audley Q stuff. Are we the only nation are we the only nation that doesn't self-suck when achieving mega milestones? Are we so out of touch? No, it's the rest of the world that is wrong. I did think it was a beautiful day for both countries today. Australia winkled their way well and India got a milestone.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Everyone was happy.
Yes.
First ton away from home against the biggest rival at the biggest stadium with the game on the line with your dad watching. Fuck me!
Now,
Probably not enough said about the old man. It's
Yeah,
a
I know.
salad. It's fucking. It's prayers. It's like blokes around him. Fucking,
Yeah.
You know, he came out of your cock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you know, I feel like many times my dad came and he was also crying, you know, to watch me play.
To watch you play.
Damn it.
Yes.
Damn it.
Many times he did that.
He was a very emotional
I've
lover.
released more semen.
He was an emotional lover, my father. That's, especially at cricket. And make of that what you will. Yeah, but you know, like when I see that, and like what it means, like you never know, like the like how like the struggle. What am I trying to say? The struggle to make it all the way to the successes of the Indian cricket team, or like the IPL, or just recognition of like from community and stuff. And like they've travelled all the way here. There's so many Indian fans that have come from the US and have flown from India as well, all around the country indeed, or just like Fitzroy, just got a tram. But like, when I see that, I'm like, how the fuck are we going to compete with that? Because most guys are just like, I'll put my kid in an academy and he got a scholarship, and I wore a polo for like 30 years and I just felt part of it, and then we just like made it a financial deal and good to go. You know?
Mate,
We can't compete with
That's
that.
true.
We can't compete with meaning.
Exactly.
You know? And hardship.
The like, in all seriousness, I just can't begin to imagine the emotions his dad must have been feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's the coolest thing of all time. But, like, imagine being by the boundary, watching your son, you know, hit you know, a 99 not out with 1 wicket in hand, you know, brooding skies overhead, fighting for his country, hitting the quick over mid-on for 4, surrounded by Indian fans. Like, you would implode and explode with pride and emotion. I mean, it's just, cameras all on him and he's just going for it. I mean, there have been so many things this series where people have just gone for it emotionally. I know, like, I don't mean to bring it back to Constas, but, you know, it's actually quite refreshing. There's always this kind of undertone in Australia of, like, not getting above your station, of making sure you keep your feet firmly on the ground. And there's always a place for that in life. But it is funny, you know, to regularly see young people transcend that a little bit. You know, Nitish Kumar Reddy bringing up his 100 age 21. You know, we're, like, so many of the stories heading into this series were about, could the old blokes do it? They've had a bit of a say. But it's way more refreshing, I think, to see new guys you haven't heard of, do things like this, you know, on the biggest stage, and then the dad's there, you know, surrounded by the crowd. It's pretty fucking awesome. I hope he fucking sneaks off first over.
Get it through the chest.
I got to say, the press box, at least one side of it, weren't too far behind the father's celebrations as well. Well, I did get a message from an Australian once saying, if he sneaks off, I'm on the desk. So...
I think I know who that was.
Yeah. You know, like, it's an ode to the series, and a star is born, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
It's fucking hot. Sorry that it's not funny.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us here on TDC, and welcome back to everyone that's made it this far. We've missed you the last couple of days and the last couple of test matches indeed. Hey, if you want to come and see TDC live, our final live show of the Australian Summer is on January 9 in Melbourne at the Forum Theatre. Tickets at Ticketek or greycricketer.com, or perhaps even in the bio. And Pete Hanscom is going to be our special guest. You know what? Pete's probably going to be on that Sri Lankan tour, which is a few days after, which is looking increasingly likely.
Sure,
like
saying that.
We need him to score 200s in that series, because Australia might need to win that 2-0 to make the World Test Championship final. All these permutations. But thank you very much to Big Basket Now for getting behind TGC, of course. Thank you for getting behind TGC. And we'll see you guys for day 4 at the MCG. Cheers.